Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing A Hot Night in a Foggy Cage. Yes, we're back with fog, we're back with a Meggen033 puzzle, and it's all about anti-night and fog variants. A fantastic combination that's, to be fair, sometimes can be a little bit harsh for a Monday morning, but I'm hoping that you've all had a fantastic weekend, you're relaxed, you're thinking clearly, and we're going to be able to clear this fog and actually absolutely just blast this hot night away. Speaking of which, I don't know why Sleuth is down there, whatever that night is. It almost looks demonic, on fire, clearly steaming, and yeah, hot enough that Sleuth is sweating in there. Anyway, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule set with A Hot Night in a Foggy Cage by Meggen033, and the following set of rules. So just let me think. Normal Sudoku, fog, anti-night, killer cages, and thermometers. If you know what all of that means, you know what to do. Link in the description down below for you to play. Just on the off chance that you don't, quick walkthrough of these rules. Normal Sudoku, place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row. Every column, of course, and every 3x3 box. So that's the classic Sudoku bit. The grid is partially covered with fog, and correctly placed digits will clear the fog around that cell. No guessing is required. So if this cell is a 2, for example, and it happens to be correct, all of the surrounding fog cells will be essentially cleared and will hopefully give us some more information to allow us to progress. We also know that cells separated by knight's move in chess cannot contain the same digit. So if this 2 here, same row, same column, same box, none of these could be a 2. But anything that is a chess knight's move away, so that L shape, kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step to the side, all of these cells, kind of unintuitively, that are not in the same row, column, or box, cannot be A2 either. Digits in cages do not repeat, and some to the clue in the top left. Cages do not overlap. So essentially this cell here, and these 2 cells actually add up to 5. These 3 add up to 9. So if that's a 2, that would be a 3, not 4 clearly, to make sure they do add up to 5. Then last but not least, we've got the thermometer. I guess that's the reference to the hot night part. And the temperature. Digits along each thermometer must increase starting from the bulb end. So this cell here is the bulb end. That is clearly something that looks a bit like a thermometer. And essentially, if this cell was a 2, this could be 3 or higher. And of course, it doesn't have to be in regular steps. A step of 1 here is fine. I could have gone for a step of 2 there. That's the rules of thermometers, though clearly I've broken the cage here. So, as always, if you want to play along, link in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Now, as I walk through these rules, we have a 3-cell 9 cage. There are 3 ways of getting to 9 in 3 cells, where you can't repeat any of the digits. 1, 2, 6, 2, 3, 4, and of course 1, 3, 5. I don't know why I did it that way. 1, 3, 5, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm going to say straight away that 2, 3, 4 doesn't work. And the reason is this 5 cage. 5 in 2 cells is made up of either 2, 3 or 1, 4. And these 2 cells essentially see both of these. This cell sees this cell with Sudoku and anti-night move, vice versa. So essentially, I can't have 3 and 4 in here because that would eliminate the 2, 3, that would eliminate the 1, 4, and then I have no options. So 2, 3, 4 is off the table. That means that I definitely have a 1 at the bottom, and it's either a 2 and then a 6, or a 3 and then a 5. And then we're going to have to kind of pick it up from here and probably use the other 2 cages to try and kind of get our... I mean, we've clearly got the break in, but I'm sure we can do better. 5, well, it could be 1, 4, except this cell is not a 1 anymore, so that's 1, that would be 4. And then the other option is 2, 3. 2, 3 doesn't work. Obvious reason is this cell. If I have 2 and 3 in here, doesn't matter what order it is, they both see this cell, eliminating both options. So that's not going to work. That's 4, that's 1. Right, let's think about the 7 cage, and then obviously all of this additional information is probably helping us. No 1s you can see, so it's not 1, 6. Technically could be 2, 5, can't it? No, because this is either 1, 2, 6 or 1, 3, 5. Essentially, I either have a 2 in here or a 5. And it doesn't matter which one I have, they can see both of these cells. So if this is 2, this is not 2, 5. This is 5, this is not 2, 5. And just established it's not 1, 6. It can only be 3, 4. And that 4 across gives us the answer. That's 4, that's 3. That can't be a 3 anymore. That's 2, that's 6. And we definitely have our break-in now. Right, 1. Let's do Sudoku whilst we're going. I always forget. Can't be halfway up a thermometer. That's the 1. And 4 can't be here because of night move. That's 4. Have I got anything else that's obvious? No. Not at least on Sudoku. Right, let's keep going. So the 15 cage doesn't have a 4 in it. 4 can't be in the same box, can't be in the same column, can't be a night move away. And it's not starting at 1. And because it's not starting at 1, I'm going to say this has to be a 2. Because if I start at, no, it doesn't have to be. 3, yeah, I don't have, sorry, I was thinking 4, 5, 6. That's what I've been confusing myself with. So actually, this is 2 or 3, that's fine. If it's 2, these two cells add up to 13. And there's, obviously 4, 9 is out. 5, 8 is fine. And 6, 7 is also going to work. Notice, of course, that we have a direction here because of the thermometer. So it's not like I have to kind of double up my pencil marks. If it's 3, these two cells add up to 12. And it's not going to be 3, 9. It's not going to be 4, 8. It'll be 5, 7. So that's actually a fully pencil mark 15. Can I do the same thing with the 13? Now, the 3 is not inside the 13 cage, but that's not true for the 4. Although these two cells can't be 4, this can be. And actually 3 and 4 in here, if that is not 1 or 2, well, the next digits along is 5, 6 and 7. That is 18. That is way too big. So this is definitely from 1 and 2. If it's a 1, that's 2 cells that add up to 12. And it's not 3, 9. It technically could be 4, 8. And it can be 5, 7. The other option, of course, is a 2. And then these two cells add up to 11. It's not 2, 9. It's not 3, 8. It could be 4, 7, which I've already pencil marked, and 5, 6 is not an option because of this 6. So that's fully pencil marked as well. Now, there's essentially a virtual 1, 2 with this cell, because 11, if I don't use 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 is the minimum, that's already at 12. So there has to be a 1 or 2 in here. Now, it's clearly not this cell. In fact, it's not 2. None of these are 2. So there is a 1 in one of these cells. That is a 2. And then I seem to remember thinking this is forced then. To get to 11, it can only be 4, 7. Yes. Has that helped? Not really. Right, so 1 with 2 cells that add up to 10. And it's not going to be 1, 9. It's not going to be 2, 8. It's not going to be 4, 6. It is 3, 7. So this is 1, 3, 7. Forcing this to be an 8. These two cells now need to add up to 7 to get to 15, and it can only be 2 and 5. And to complete the row as well, since we're here, it's 6, 9. The 7 is not here. In fact, neither is the 3. They can both see this with 9 tonight, so that's the 1. And I can't resolve these. I can't resolve these. Excellent, though. Have I got some obvious Sudoku I'm missing? Probably, but when I think about these, actually, this is at least 3. This is at least 6, because, it's not 1, 2, 4, and it's not 5 either. And therefore, this is at least 7. Can't be 8, so this is my 9. Presumably, this could be 7 or 8. And presumably, this cannot be 1, 2, 3, 4. It was never a 3. Or 5. This is starting at 6. This is actually quite restricted, isn't it? That can't be a 7 anymore. Because if this is already at 6, that's a 7, and that can't be 8. That's always a 9. And therefore, this is my degree of freedom, the 6, 7, and 7, 8. Okay, what's next? Again, very restricted, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is at least a 5, 6, and at least an 8, because it can't be a 7. Now, of course, it could be 9. This 6 could also be 8, can't be 7. And this 5 presumably could be 6. So I could go 6, 8, 9. Yep, that works. It's not quite enough to form a triple. Notice no 9. There has to be a 9 in one of these two cells, both of which, knight move and Sudoku, see this cell. So that's always 6. That is a 9. That 6 hasn't exactly helped. Well, kind of. It means no 6s in here, no 6 in there. There's a 6 for sure in here. There's a 6 for sure in there. Look at me doing Sudoku. I feel very proud of myself whenever I do this, by the way. It's, you know, I've said, as stated before, my New Year resolution that I frankly don't stick to very often. So, pat on the back. 1, 2. This can't be 3. Well, obviously for Sudoku reasons as well. It's going to show us some lovely anti-knight trickery, but what was the point? Right, if there is some Sudoku to be done, it is not that obvious to me. 5 is in one of two cells. I'm going to say so is 3. That looks to me like a 3-5 pair. Essentially, the 5 eliminates these cells. The 3 eliminates these cells. And obviously, the thermometer has naturally eliminated everything else. So that is a 3-5 pair. And therefore, this is 6, 7, 8. That's a triple. And therefore, one of these is a 5 next to another 6, 7, 8, 9. One of which is a 6. Sorry, neither of which is a 6. And we knew that anyway. So the fact that there's a 5 in here doesn't exactly help. No, it doesn't. No 7, no 7. 7 is in one of two cells. And again, you can play some anti-knight trickery. There's quite a few here, actually, here. Just a reminder, no 7, no 7, anti-knight move. 7 is restricted to these two cells, both of which see this 7, 8. So that has to be an 8. The other thing is that that can't be a 7 because it sees both of these 3, 7 options. So that's not 7, that is 7. Although another way, it's just once we've confirmed that's an 8, that's a 6, 7 pair. So it's not like I had, oh, come on, what are you struggling with? Keyboard shortcut sleuth, that's 6, 7 pair. This is now 5, 8, 9. That is not 8. And that could be any of them. Then I have another 8, 9 up here with a 3, which could be any of them again. Interestingly, is the 3 is in one of two cells, and again, anti-knight. That sees this cell with Sudoku and this cell with anti-knight. So if any of them is 3, that has to be 7. That's 3. I'm not sure that you need any of these, by the way. It's like, I feel like it's good habit to get into spotting these types of tricks that may be a bit exaggerated. But you know what I mean. Right, not 1, could be 2, not 3, not 4. I assume could be 5. I also assume could be 6. Can't be 7, and obviously 8 and 9 don't work. This cell is not 2, 3, or 4. It could be 5, could be 6, could be 7, and could be 8. Now we're at 6, 8, 9. Can't be 7. Gives me a 6, 8, 9 triple, which is interesting. Not sure how to use that yet. Well, the remaining cells are 1, 2, 3, 5. The 2 is definitely down here. It's not up there, and it's not here. And then the rest of them are 1, 3, 5, I'm going to say, and I can't remove any of them, seemingly. That's enough for now. You see, the fact that this could be a 1 isn't helpful, if I'm honest. 9 is in one of two cells. No 8s. I mean, it's just such a not a big deal. No 4s. Still a ton of options. I don't know if I want to pencil mark this. I probably don't want to pencil mark this. So 1 is essentially one of these two cells in row 7. And the reason obviously I'm focusing on row 7 is the 2 thermometers. And it feels like it's telling me, look here, look at me. Though I don't know why it's saying that, because I'm frankly struggling to see anything useful with it. Sorry, didn't mean to bump into the microphone there. Let's have a think about 6s for a second. So no 6s, no 6 because one of these is a 6. 6 is in one of these 3 cells, all of which see this one. So that can't be a 6. That is 2 or 5. That is not a 2. That's just a 5. That's not a 5. That is a 5. That's not 5. That is not 6. That is an 8-9 pair. That's my 6. That's my 5. That could still be 6. That is not 5. There is definitely a 5 up here now. That's not a 1. If you play these puzzles without pencil mark checks, I always find that spotting, actually, I have a 3 in here that I've kind of entirely ignored. That's 5, that's 3. Where was I going? I was essentially saying that I find anti-night sometimes could be quite awkward. This is 3, 8, it can't be 9. And this seemingly could be any of them, 3, 8, 9. Okay. No 1. I mean 1. No, never mind. I was going to say 1 is definitely here, but it could also be there. Tricky. Trickier than I was expecting. It was going so smoothly. Then suddenly, it's gotten a lot harder, I'm finding. I'm having to do a lot more pencil mark than, frankly, I'm used to. 6. Is that helpful? Not really. Right, I've ignored this thermometer for long enough. I'm going to just pencil mark it, which I am going to dislike. 1, 2, 3. That's why I'm disliking it. We know there are no 4s. That also cannot be a 2. So I could start at 3. That can't be 5. So the next one along would be 6. Can't be 3. Why can't it be 4? Can't be 4. Can't be 5. Next one along is indeed 6. That would mean the next one along after 3. Well, is that? Yeah, it is true. 1, 2. I mean, obviously the 3, the 4, the 5. So technically I can get away with a 6, I assume. Like 1, 2, 6. Yeah. Obviously, otherwise I can go up to 7, not 8 or 9. So that's fully pencil marked. And that 6 can presumably go up to 7, but not 8 or 9. And then this one here, well, it's not, I mean, 1, 3, 2, 4, 5 can all see it. 6 works, 7, 8 don't. So that's the full set of pencil marks. Lower than you might expect. Still a lot. One thing we haven't placed anywhere so far is a 4. But 4 could be either of these. So not exactly useful. I feel like I must be missing something obvious. I must be. Because this is suddenly like way harder. Way, way harder. That's a 2. Sorry, I'm just struggling with my tapping today. Which forces a 2 up here. And it's in one of these two cells, including this cell, which would force a 1. Okay. What about 3? Nope, not very useful. 4, not very useful either. Huh. It's almost as if there's like more rules to help this along that I'm just haven't read. But you see what I mean now about sometimes this can be tricky. So the 5 is definitely in here, but that is a very useless pencil mark because we already knew the 5 is up there. The 1's, again, not very useful. 2, 3, 6. I mean, I'm gonna keep at it because I'm slowly making progress. Like I'm finding these random things all over the place. It's frustratingly stubborn. What am I missing? I am missing, for example, these two cells are 8 and 9. And therefore, this cannot be 8 or 9. You can see the two different ones. That's a 3. That's not a 3, that's an 8. That's a 9. That's an 8. That's a 9. That could have done that as well. That could see both 8 and 9. That was never either. 8, 9. 9, that's not 9. That is 9. That's not a 7 anymore. Therefore, that's not a 6 anymore. If that's 6, that's 7. And it would break this cell. So that has to be 2. This has to be 1. That's not 1. That's not a 2 anymore. So the rest of this is 3, 6, 7, 8, and of course the 4. So no 8. 8 could be in one. I don't know if I want to pencil mark this. I may be forced to, so I'm not going to entirely dismiss it just yet. This is hard going for sure. 8, of course, gave me a 9 in here that I've just ignored for a while. 9 is up here now. I can't do more than that. So 1, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, looks like I'm going to be doing more pencil marks. I suspect that this would have gone a lot quicker if I pencil marked more heavily, but it is what it is. So it can't be 3, 1 or 2, not 5. It can't be 6 or 7 because I can see both of them in there. Could be 8. So this is actually very narrowly pencil marked. Very narrowly pencil marked. Interesting. This cell, not as narrow, can be 3, can be 4, not 5, 6. Presumably it could be 7. That would make this 6. That would make this 3. Yeah. It could also be 8. So that is like everything on this row other than the 6. And seemingly this one as well, other than the 8. Yeah, that wasn't helpful. Not 6 actually. 3, 4, 7. You know, it's frustratingly close to breaking. 6, 7, come on, sleuth. 3. And then the only place for a 6 now is in here. I'm left with 4, 7, 8. I was doing so well on spotting these anti-knight moves. And then suddenly I'm just like absolutely struggling. And I don't understand. One of these is a 3, not very useful. No 6, no 6 is 6. Rest of this is 4, 7, 8, 9. No 9. So no 7. This is another 4, 8. And this is 4, 7, 8, 9. Can't eliminate any of them. Not 4 or 7. So presumably this is 8, 9. 4, 7, 8, 9. Yes. No 9. Only place for a 9 is in here. That's a freebie. And this is 4, 7, 8. I can't remove any options. Doesn't force any digits in here either. It's fine. What's next? 5, 4. Where is 1? No 1, no 1. 1 is in here. 1 is there. Not a 1. 3, 5 pair is a 1. No 1s. That's a 1, 9 pair. That's 1. That's 9. Fog is very nearly lifted at this point. 7, 8 pair, I'm going to say. Which gives me 4, 8, 7. Not 7. 4, 8 pair. Not hugely useful. Is that the only place for a 3 now? It looks like it. 3, which gives me 5. Not 5 is 5. Not 1 is 1. And then no 6s is a 6. 7 and something. 7 and 4. Can't resolve for now. Can resolve this one for sure. That's an 8. Which gives me 4, 8, 7. 7, 8. Yeah, that's 7. Gave me 8 and 7. 3, 5, nothing reaches it. The 6, 7, seemingly nothing reaches it. And the 4, 7, again, seemingly nothing reaches it. So these pencil marks are valid. Right, let's do some more Sudoku. No 2s, no 2, 2. Actually, a bit more than Sudoku here. 4s, that's forced. 5, it's got to be one of these two. Not very helpful. 6, can't be 6, is 6. 7, 8, that's forced. That's 5, that's 9, that's 3, that's 5. I need 3, 2 and 3. 3, 2. I need 4, 7 and 6. Where's my 6? It's in one of these two cells. This is a 7 in fact. So this is 4, 6. Right. How am I resolving this? What did I miss? Because I missed something. Six. 4, 6. 6, 7. 7 and 4. Lovely puzzle. Meggen033. You know, a true kind of anti-knight puzzle, if there is one, where you really do need to use the anti-knight moves to actually make some progress. So I guess the anti-knight trickery was necessary to actually solve this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle and didn't struggle anywhere near as much as I have for a Monday morning. And I'll see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.